So strictly speaking, that's all we needed to do here. However, there are reasons to knock out these other two people. This is a piddly dream, or this is a piddly existence, though, isn't it? Not much of a town at all. It's like 3 people. But it is actually genuinely important to knock them out if you want the endings of the game. So buckle up, kids. We got 2 more of these to do. Hopefully you don't mind the narration too much. I thought the story was kind of funny, actually. Good fourth wall breaking humor. Right up my alley. It'd be so much easier if you were here. Anyways. I think that's the woman. And that's the guy. The guy is significantly easier. Another victim. This work is certainly tiring. It's rough on the throat, we'll give you that. I'm surprised, Vice. You're a book. All this stuff should be right up your alley. Yes, quite. Well, enough chatter. Let's be off. A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms gripping against the sky. Vice and Token had never seen such a sight. Their eyes widened as they tried to take it all in. Hey, Vice. We keep walking, but those things don't get any closer. I don't get it. Are they really that big? As Vice considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed, ferocity. Perhaps they are in some manner of mirage, he said. Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. Token nodded and wiped his sweat off the brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had lain in their material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made Token lighthearted. Suddenly, he dropped to his knees and slammed his hand against the black surface. God damn it, he said. Is this some kind of joke? Well, I'm not laughing. The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said. No, no joke. This road leads to the city of art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. Oh, come on, that's bullshit and you know it. Possibly, but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. Token glanced at Vice's grinning face, cursed silently to himself, and resumed walking. See, part of the reason I like these two so much is because I see myself in both of them quite a bit. Weiss for his constant sarcasm and smugness, and Nier for his constant complaining, but dedication to want to do the right thing. I'm aware that in games I come off as a right bastard, but in real life I do have a penchant to want to help people. It's actually a flaw. I have a hard time saying no at helping people, but that's unimportant right now. As time passed, Token's feet grew more painful and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. We're definitely getting closer, said Vice in an effort to cheer up his companion. Yes, this much is certain. Encouraged, Token lifted his gaze. Suddenly he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth open, eyes wide, and finger pointing in the distance. Water, he cried. It's water! Actually, I am a bit thirsty. Water? Asked Vice. Preposterous, I don't see any water. It's right there, idiot. Can't you see it? Look, the sun is reflecting off it. Without waiting for a response, Token sprang to life and bounded towards the sight. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. Token closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him, chuckling softly. I believe this is known as a mirage, he said. Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things. Token shook his head bewildered. Suddenly, a point off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. Wait, there it is. I just missed it. Look, it's right there. Token sprinted off again, leading Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, Token came to a halt. I could have sworn it was right around here. Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Vice finally floated up to Token and struck him in the face with his cover. You damn blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here! Token's face clouded. There isn't? There is not! And perhaps next time you'll listen to me when I tell you as much. Well, Nathan's got the game he and I will be recording up and running. Vice paused a moment, then continued to speak in a slightly kinder tone. However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the City of Art. Token looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. They're huge, cried Token, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. I've never seen anything so big. Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up towards the sky. but that is where the similarities end. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected the light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. What kind of city is this? Seriously. This episode, and possibly the next one, do something else. This is all it's gonna be. Just trust me on this. I'm hitting A and that's it. If you haven't figured that out by now, I mean. What kind of city is this? Said Token. Where are the people? Where are the houses? Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use. The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on rails. Beautiful carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were comprised of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles was staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, Token and Vice eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shapes of humans. Token uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally, I was getting tired of modern art. The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for a single word chiseled into their right arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one read Gamma. As Token moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on top of the statue's shoulder, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and forms as they began to breathe. Hey, look at that, said Token. They're alive. The triplets bowed low before Token. Please, said Alpha, you have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. Stop lying, said Beta, and turned to Token and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's fake, you know. I'm the real one. What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta's fake. Everyone here knows I'm the only real one. Alright, so, figure this out real quick. Let's say Alpha's telling the truth. That would mean Beta's lying, which checks out. And that would mean Gamma's lying. Which, I don't know, because he said Beta's fake, which would be a truth in that case. Let's say Beta's telling the truth. You have to get me out of here, I'm real. Alpha's lying, that checks out. Stop lying, Alpha's fake, you know, I'm the real one. That's truth, that checks out. Beta's fake, I'm the real one. That's a lie. That all checks out. Just for the sake of it, Gamma. Lie, that checks out. Alpha's fake. No, that would be the truth. Yeah, so Beta's the real one. Everyone, their respective pleas given, the 3 statues returned to their frozen states, as silence once again enveloped the city. When you consider all the statements, only one of them can be the real thing, said Vice. Token furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. One form is real, the others are false. Yeah, okay. Real one is Beta. Real one is Beta. Token's voice betrayed a noble lack of confidence. He was relieved to see Vice nodding at him. If Alpha were telling... okay, now let's... As Vice finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. Congratulations, villager, said Vice in a cheerful voice. The time to awaken has arrived. Thank you for saving me, cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable Token pulled him to his feet. Why'd you have a dream like this? Asked Vice. Have you been to this city before? The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape and shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I could have ever been to a place like this, but at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Deja vu, murmured Token. It's just like that damn mare. The vague sense of unease that struck Token during the mare stream spread once more to his mind. Okay, that was terrible. I'm positive I've seen that place before. Stop! I get enough foreboding crap from everyone else in my life. Don't you start too. Well... time for one more. This episode will probably be a bit longer since this is all it is. Yay. Good times. Good times. This must be another person infected by the death dream. It appeared that way, yes. Okay. Here we go. This one's a bit of a pain, actually, because you can die here. Gods, please don't tell me you have to go back there. I'm no good at mind game crap. I'd rather hit something in the face and be done with it. Perhaps you spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission. Yeah. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked under a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dire that seems without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Hey, anyone in there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior! I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired man in a floating book before light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss. This is Token. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Token extends his massive hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear the rain again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my feet, lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good on our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. Basically, as long as you don't fuck up too bad, you don't drown. We know that you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. I have to check and proceed north. Well, I have to pick and proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopy beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. They're covered with a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching the doors in the next room, I come across a shapeless mass of gray matter has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fervor, I think I see the outline of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch the piece of mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the winds. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses! I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. All sanity will not permit me. And sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether a scream or laughter I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. Don't go south because you just came from the north, remember. I squint down the dim corridor and proceed east. Squint down the dim corridor and proceed north. Squint down the dim corridor. Ah, for God's sakes. I think west is either a trap or the way to go. I can't remember. I think I just proceeded north, so south's wrong. I'll try west. At the end of the path, a row of heavy wooden casks lie on the side dark chamber, doubtless they're filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The casks will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack, and thick red liquid bursts from the hole. This is no wine. It is blood, still warm from the body. Whether animal or something else, I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising flood waters, creating a warmth as it laps against my thighs. By the gods, are the rest of these casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee, but my weakened legs betray me, sending toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere. It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurch forward through the red waters and out of the room into freedom. Proceed east. So don't go west and don't go south. Try north. At the end of the path, the waters rise to my waist. Exhausted, my body physically, spiritually, and pray that this is the way out. Eventually, I can stand the sight of water no longer, and I turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe these people have lived long ago. One subject wears an outfit particularly catches my eye. It's constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of the most perfect construction. It's a stunning costume by every modern standard. I gaze at the portrait. I am struck with a desire to touch it with my own hands. As I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring at the image, I see bent and warped in the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is another prisoner, a fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let that pass, so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it in the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. The poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted on the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses, blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough, shielding my eyes, I pedal forward through the water. Okay, back south, and guess east. At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. Waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table, which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as all that remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding my dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach a chair at the table's head, but as truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made their home in the remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from this table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for chairs prove even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered with a layer of spikes that run from the seat up the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung from their mouths. My mind grasps frantically at the possibility that these souls have committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though in truth I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. Well, shit. Can't go west. That's where I came from. I'll proceed north. The water has risen to my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. Shit, I took too long. Yep. Took too long. Should have gone east sooner. That one's on me, I suppose. Oh, God. If I have to do all of those again, I'm done for the night if I have to do all those again. I don't have to do him again. And, fuck, I have to do, well. I'll knock her out and then I'll be done with this bullshit. Yeah, enter the dream. That's bullshit. I took too long. That shouldn't, I hate that penalty. Like, I mean really now. Proceed north, yada yada. Blah de blah. Proceed east. Proceed north again. Proceed east. Yeah, if you take too long, it just straight up kills you. Despite, I was just seeing what there was to see. Alright. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. I was one away, too. For God's sakes. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. Break it down, someone cries, so I give myself the effort. In tandem with Token and Grimoire of Eyes, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way. We find ourselves sprawled in front of the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding. But to the west, I see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you, I cry as tears join my rainy cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asked Vice. Then you're a woman, madam? Yes, I am. I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I existed only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Token is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, awaken another kind of blah, 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 blah. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades. You have anything to say about that? Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time. Well, fuck it. It's not going to be its own video. We know the answers. There aren't that many. I'm just going to blitz through this one. So we can be done with this bullshit. Blah blah. Yeah, make this its own video, etc, 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 etc. Shabba-doo-doo. So how's your week been, everyone? You enjoying this part of the game? Because, let me tell you, I don't. Much as I liked narrating all of that. It's very slow. Well written, sure, but just so slowly paced. And this is clearly where they ran out of budget. This is just text. Real one is beta. And I think that's all you even need to do here. Yeah, there we go. It was terrible. Okay, now the villagers can wake up, right? Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct, I think we have enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much. Here you go. Well, let's go see the mayor. Indeed, let us go see the mayor. You're not the mayor. You're the mayor.
Hello.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Here, I have something for you. One-handed sword faith. Holy crap, I can really have this? Of course! It's apparently a weapon of some renown. Is it? Thank you. Yes, actually. Well, be damned. Alright, so we got a new fancy weapon. That was kind of worth it. But anyways, that's all the time we have. I even extended... Whoops! Almost overwrote Sam's precious game that she'll get back to one day. No idea if she beat it, because despite being 3 hours behind me for total playtime, I can only assume she beat it, because I don't know where those extra 3 hours would come from. She must have been doing something wrong, because clearly I'm better at this game than her. But anyways, thanks so much for watching up at Tokenlad. Talk to you later, Shrewd Negotiator. See you around Ask Clowns. That part of the game's done. Don't worry about it. Smooth sailing for a while now.